Welcome to an enlightened hour of interactive talk. This is Guided Spirit Conversations with host Marla Goldberg. In this program, we spotlight guests from all over the globe who have helped others change their lives and will provide you with the tips, tools, and techniques that you need to help you make a difference in your own life. Now, here is Marla Goldberg.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Welcome to Guided Spirit Conversations. I'm your host, Marla Goldberg, and we have a very wonderful show for you today. Sharon Serota is a Reiki Master, Body Code and Emotion Code Practitioner, and is an Akashic Records Reader. In addition, she is currently co-hosting All One Conscious Conversations on Zoom and Facebook, where she has guests from all over the world. Sharon is a founding member of the Divine One Center, where she shares Ayurvedic non-dualistic teachings. She travels around the country sharing and offering the remembrance that I am one. Sharon's first book will launch on November 1st, and the book is called Light Wisdom, Awakening to Your True Self, which can be found on Amazon. Welcome, Sharon.
Thank you, Marla. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here. I know we've been talking about this for quite a bit. So
yes.
Book is done, and here you are, and welcome.
Thank you so much.
So what I like to do is give people background, because many people like you and I, we grew up one way, and all of a sudden our paths opened up in front of us and we started our journey. What was your opening? What was your catalyst to get you on this path?
So it's really remarkable because it's just amazing. I remember even being a young girl and having experiences, just even, being above my body, even looking down, for example. I had, some health issues as a young child. And what happened was then I had people around me, and I could actually experience raising up and going above my body and looking down. And I explained that to my mother later on, and she said that's exactly what it was, because I could actually see that. And as I got older, I knew that there was just more to life than just what we see here. And then through my recent practices with meditation and classes, becoming a Reiki Master, learning more about energy. And energy is so important, just to be able to tune into that using your intuitive abilities. And through that, I've grown through taking some courses, and especially now with my current teacher, Sage. She's written a book also, Mirror of Love, which is also available on Facebook for our listeners and part of the Divine One group. And I've written my book just based on what I've learned too with my teacher, Sage. And it's called Light Wisdom, Awakening to Your True Self. And it's actually by Sharon Berkowitz, which is my current name. So you knew me as Serota. So we've known each other for a lot of years.
Long time, very long time. So was your mother metaphysical?
Not really. I would say that whatever was going on with me just was something that I was experiencing. My mom was always a great support, and with all the things that I was doing, activities of growing up in school and so forth.
So what was the catalyst as an adult that took you from, I'll call it the quote unquote mainstream, to going down your, what I call the one-way journey to, through your path?
Well, my first teacher, Billy Topatate, she is in Evanston. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's Mescalero Apache, and I've taken meditation and classes, and that's where I studied a lot of Reiki and so forth. And my second teacher is now Sage, who I still work with, and who we're going to do a special workshop with coming up in November 13th and 14th. And here in Northbrook, Illinois. So what's really amazing is that this journey has blossomed for me, and that I've written my first book, and it's being launched November 1st. So really excited about that.
We can tell. So I want to get into, your journey, and then going into, becoming a Reiki Master and Body Code and Emotion Code Practitioner, because it's all part of the fabric that brings you to where you are today, where you write your book from, from that experience, from that point of view. So was Reiki was the first modality you learned, or was it straight Billy? I mean,
it was Reiki with Billy. That's how I started that. And that's how I learned about more about energy and about how the art of the metaphysical. I also went to the School of Metaphysics in Palatine, Illinois. So I was a student there for many years. And I was also in charge of doing the Sunday night Kundalini healings. So I did that for a long time, and really enjoyed working over there as well.
it sounds like a very well-rounded experience. So let's talk about awakening. What the way you explain it is an awakening?
So awakening is the knowledge that you know that there is no duality. And duality means that there's two or more. And we live in a oneness consciousness, a oneness that is like the Atman, the Brahman, and that is who we truly are. So all of this that's showing up, emanating from one vibration, one mind, one love, like everything is that high vibration of love. And what we're doing is we're superimposing onto that one vibration of love. For example, we're superimposing like even our states of mind, which most people call feelings. And so a feeling could be something that arises out of a situation. It comes up out of talking with people. It could be something that you're patterning, which is strung up many states of mind or feelings that cause a pattern. It's like, oh my gosh, this is happening again. Something that even to the point of like when you bite your lip, for example, and then the next day you do the same place. It's like something that's repeating. Or somebody who's in an accident and they hurt their foot, and then all of a sudden they break their foot, the next time, because it's something that's repeating. It's like a pattern that is coming up for you that you need to either take a look at or kind of laugh at it and let it go. But if you can't do that, then you need to go deeper into that. And some people call that like a self-inquiry, where you can go inside and ask yourself some deeper questions about why this is happening. And many times you'll get some response back, and you'll sense it and feel it either through a meditation or a yoga practice or just a walk out in nature, something that grounds you, something that makes you feel more centered and more balanced. So what we're doing here in the oneness is understanding who we truly are, is that oneness, that one spirit, great spirit, Atman, Brahman, whatever you want to give it a name for.
Okay, that's really interesting. And so how does this awakening guide one through their journey, down their path?
That's the really good question. And what it is that we're here to discover, or not even to discover, but to realize that we're in an illusory victim consciousness in this Mythia. And I say illusory is because everything is emanating from your mind. And the fragmentation of the mind is your states of mind, which is all the different feelings that come up for you. And each person is seemingly appearing here, having their own perceptions, their own belief systems, their thoughts, all these things that arise. And what this is still, if you're attached to it, like something really, really bothers you, then you need to understand that, that's not who you are. It's about a releasing, a surrendering, a letting go, so that you can become more in that natural, peaceful state of mind, like that beingness that I was talking about, that oneness earlier.
Okay, so for people, you were saying illusionary. Say that phrase again, please.
Oh, illusory victim consciousness.
So explain what that is.
Right. So Mythia, meaning that we live in a Maya, the illusory world, that we're going from a Mythia to a unity consciousness. The unity is the peace. It's that joy, that's the bliss. And that is the oneness, that when we're not in our egoic mind, which is body and mind, and we move beyond that, then we're moving towards the oneness.
So is the Mythia part of the myth that we create for ourselves?
Yes, absolutely. It's just something that it's emanating from your mind. So everything is coming forward that way, that you're projecting. So let's say you're walking through the forest and you see ahead of you, a snake, and all of a sudden you start, hyperventilating, you get it really nervous, but you know that that's the only way you got to go. You got to go really close to that snake. So you just keep walking towards it, and you're just feeling all these different feelings of overwhelm and anxiousness. But as you get closer, you realize it wasn't a snake, but a stick. And you're like, oh, okay. So all of that just happened where?
In your mind. So
in your mind.
It's how you build up your stories in your mind that tend to control you and your actions or reactions.
I agree with that, because it's your states of mind that create your reality. So when people have a misperception, then you realize, I need another perception. You can ask yourself, what else can I see in this moment? What other perception can come up for me? Because whatever perception you're seeing that's not serving you, you want to create maybe a different reality. Because remember, all your states of mind create your reality, what you're seeing in the moment.
And it's so true. It is it's so true. So then let's talk about the Advaita Vedanta.
Yeah, Advaita Vedanta. So that is really what this is about, this work, the studying. So it is actually, like we talked about, going from the individual self to more of a Atman, which is the multitude of apparent individual bodies. So in other words, we have, maybe 7.8 billion people on the planet, right?
Yes.
Yes, something like that. And what it is that everything emanates from the one vibration, one mind, one love. Because they say everything is love, like the Beatles song,
Mm-hmm.
Everything is love. So anything that we're doing that's not love is actually transposed or superimposed onto the one. Like if you thought of a white screen and you're in the movie theater and you look at the screen and nothing's happening yet, but now images start appearing, a movie starts to show up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're watching the movie, but you're still yourself and you're still watching the movie. And then all of a sudden the movie kind of moves around and changes and you get absorbed in the movie. So how long did it take for you to realize that you're not yourself anymore, that you're now becoming one of the characters in a movie, or you're feeling for a character, another character in a movie? So now you're looking at duality, which is more than one. And so we say moksha, moksha is like liberation or freedom from within. So you're releasing from whatever's going on inside of you in whatever way it works, because there's many different paths to do this. And I also have one that I could share with you as well. And what it is the Advaita Vedanta teachings, it's also about achieving this moksha, this freedom from within yourself and becoming one. It's also about discovering for yourself. Everybody says, oh, you're on your journey. So if you want to look at your perceived journey, what is appearing for you, you can say, okay, this is what's happening in this present moment. You've heard about present moment, right?
Yes.
Okay. So sometimes the present moment to some people can mean out of time. It's not even having to do with time. It's not even your past, not your future, and not even looking what's happening now, but it's out of time. So you're beyond your egoic mind. And that's to that one consciousness.
Interesting. So I just want to clarify for people who may not know egoic mind. So you know the ego, and the ego is very necessary for us to survive as human beings. But the ego also, I would call it the trickster, because it tricks you.
It is. It's a big trickster. Don't trust your mind. Because your mind wants to take you down a rabbit hole. Sometimes it says, oh, you're not good enough, or that's happened to me before, it's going to happen again, or I'm not smart enough, or why did I do that again? So it's all of that. That's the egoic mind, because the ego also wants what it wants. The ego says, I don't want to lose, I don't want to be annihilated. And it wants to protect that. So,
or I want what you have.
Yes, absolutely. It's the software package that we get when we come here.
That's so interesting. Hang on a second. We need to take a break. We'll be right back with Sharon Serota Berkowitz. Stay tuned.
All right, you're clear.
Thank you. Okay.
Save.
Thank you, Marla. This is great.
Oh, my pleasure. So, okay, yeah, on your bio it said Serota. So
Oh, did it?
So I read my paper.
Oh, good. Well, okay.
So I was like, maybe you're using it as your professional name. I don't know.
No, back to no, I'm using Berkowitz.
Okay, I will bring that in when we come back.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
So we want to talk about the 4 principles, or
Well,
do you want?
well, I'm gonna guide you. Just trust.
I do trust.
I will guide you. We'll get as much information as we can in, and then we do the promoting in the last segment.
Mhm.
So we'll promote the workshop. We'll promote the book again, and tell people where they can find you.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, and they can find me on Facebook, The Divine One. That's a group on Facebook that I belong to, and we post a lot of things about oneness consciousness, and they can see the flyer for the November 13th and 14th
Workshop.
workshop.
So what's Light Wisdom on Facebook? Now I'm sort of confused.
So Light Wisdom
All right, you ready?
is just my page.
Okay. Yes, I am.
All right, here we go. Going to go ahead and count you in 5, 4, 3.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for sticking around. If you're just tuning in, I'm with Sharon Serota, and I've been corrected, Berkowitz. And Sharon is a Reiki Master, body code and emotional code practitioner, and a Akashic Record Reader. She is also currently co-host of All One Conscious Conversations on Zoom and Facebook, where she has guests from all over the world join her in these conversations. She's a founding member of the Divine One Center, where she shares Ayurvedic non-dualistic teachings. She travels around the country sharing and offering the remembrance that I am one. Sharon's first book will launch on the 1st of November. The book is called Light Wisdom, Awakening to Your True Self, and you can find this book on Amazon. Pre-order it now. Welcome back, Sharon.
Thank you, Marla. Pleasure to be here.
So let's talk about this group that you call the Divine One. What is this group about?
So the Divine One, we found this group a couple of years ago, and I'm one of the founding members of this group. And what we're talking about is oneness, consciousness, learning about your true self, and awakening to this. And what we're teaching is all about how we could help others, how we could be of service to others, how we can understand the construct of the mind, so that way we can go beyond the mind. So it's really important to either have that understanding, so that way you understand what it is that you're moving beyond. Like, what is my ego? Some people don't even know what the egoic mind is, but we have that conversation just a few minutes ago about your body and your mind. That's the biggest trickster.
It is the biggest trickster. So, um, you're going to have. I'm looking at your questions and direction. Let's talk about why people feel at one time or another out of touch or disconnected. What is that about?
Right. So people a lot of times feel like they're not connected to source. And what I mean by that is that they are losing that intuitiveness, that peace that you receive, let's say in meditation, or just relaxing into your heart center. So that way you can feel things that are just coming up and letting them go. And just understanding who you truly are. You truly are the Brahman. You are Brahman. And when people understand that, and that's what we teach as part of the Divine One, is that knowing who you truly are and not to get caught up in the egoic mind.
Interesting. So, what does it mean when we're not our bodies or our mind?
So when we're beyond that knowing, it's that knowing of who you truly are. So when you are that, you say, I'm not my body, I'm not my mind, and that you have your ideas about, and just kind of put your thoughts and ideas on the side, leave it outside, leave your mind outside, and just kind of relax into who you are. And then when you do that, you have no judgments. You're not comparing yourself to other people. You're not trying to fix things. You're not trying to do. You're just being in that beingness energy. And again, we talk about the oneness.
So every time you say oneness, I keep thinking of we are many, we are one, because there's so many of us, but yet we are all interconnected. It's like a big net that we're all weaved into.
Right. And I love that. Yes. Like someone calls you, like, I was just thinking of you. That's because we are so interrelated, interconnected, interwoven. And when we tune into that, we just have that intuitiveness about this, things just start flowing. And if we come into that flow, like the river just flowing, it just knows how to move. You don't have to tell the river how to do its job. And just that oneness consciousness energy, that consciousness energy is always there. It's just a matter of whether you're going to tune into that or not. Like that radio station, that when you tune in, get closer and closer to it. And finally, you're right there. There's no static. There's nothing that's interfering with it. It's just what is. And so when we understand the what is idea, like everything is a concept because we're talking about it. We're using our words. So when we have no words and we go into the silence of it, we say silence is golden. You've heard that, right?
We've all heard that.
Yeah. And so why is it golden? It's because now we're not arguing, we're not comparing, we're not judging something, and we're just tuning into that. And if we all had that peace, this would be even a much more peaceful place to be.
True. And also when you're in that peace and when you're in that quiet, that's when you get your messages. That's where your guidance comes in, where you can really hear it and know the difference between your personal thoughts or your egoic mind, as you would call it, or spirit talking to you. And this way you have the opportunity to really develop that ability to hear beyond your mind.
That's exactly what we're talking about. That oneness, again, is beyond the egoic mind.
Which is nice. So let's talk about what are the 4 principles?
Sure. Well, the 4 principles are helping people to actually awaken. And the awakening is, again, the knowledge that there is no duality, that we go into that knowingness that the separation never occurred. And the separation is from God. In other words, we never really separated. This is helping that consciousness that you're moving towards, or actually you don't move anywhere. You just, go into that where you understand and you feel that peacefulness. It's nothing that you need to do. It's just letting go and releasing so that you can hear those intuitiveness. So the first principle.
Okay.
Okay, the first principle is to see and understand that what you are experiencing is what you want to experience. It's what you want. So it's also about taking ownership, and there's no exceptions to this. You cannot move on to principle number 2, 3, or 4 until you really get principle number 1. If you're not in agreement, that means your egoic mind is in discord.
So when is it when you are at that place where you can move to step number 2?
So when you understand that you're living in your highest and best knowing, and that what you have is what you want, and you take that on, that you're vibrating and mirroring exactly what you want, because everyone has this energy and you're attracting that energy, that similar energies. And
Right.
So it's what you're experiencing that attracts those people, places, and things, what is happening in your reality. So things are being mirrored to you to show you your level of vibration.
And so what do people do if their level of vibration is not at its ultimate?
Well, the whole point is just take the responsibility, the ownership that you are attracting what you want. That's what you want. Like someone might say, I was 3 years old. I never asked for that. I was 12 years old. I can't believe that that happened. And they must be in resistance if they're not taking that ownership. So you had, because you were vibrating a certain energy vibration, or that subconsciously and unconsciously or consciously that this is created, and just knowing that you're here and you have that ability, that power. And so it's empowering yourself to know that you are creating what's happening and that you are taking ownership for that.
So a 12-year-old. So I guess I want to clarify just for myself and maybe some listener who might be on the same wavelength as myself. 12-year-olds might say, I didn't sign up for this. But how do you explain to a 12-year-old that, yes, you did? And this goes into pre-birth planning. I don't know if you get into all of that part of it, but I mean, I can understand as an adult reflecting back going, I didn't sign up for this, which of course the answer is yes, you did. But how do you respond to a 12-year-old in a 12-year-old's way of thinking?
So I think that what it is that when we're speaking to the mind, that know that things are being emanating from, you're creating things unknowingly. So if things are happening that way, you're just realizing that you're vibrating at a certain energy vibration, and that you're taking ownership, that it is on some level what you want. And I know for a 12-year-old, it might be difficult to hear that. And maybe you don't speak to them at that level right now because they may not understand these concepts, where this is coming from, why this is happening. But to understand their reality, to help them through the process of whatever it is that they were going through at the level that they're at.
Okay. I can wrap my mind around that one.
Okay.
Well, it's just I put myself in the shoes of the 12-year-old thinking, like, what? But I know when I was 40 and I heard you chose your parents, you chose this life, and like many others, I'm not alone going, why would I do that? Today I know why I would do it. But, it's one of those things when you're talking to somebody who's not either mature enough to understand or educated to understand that a lot, we choose everything. All the major, let me put it this way, all the major events that happened to our life, we pretty much planned it before we came into birth.
Yeah, so this is called your Ishwara self, which is your higher mind or your God self, because everything is laid out for you. Like you just said, that it's all planned out. And even that might be hard for people to get their mind wrapped around that. But what happens is that once we just have that first principle understanding that we have created what we want, in other words, this is all helping to awaken yourself to the higher truth, that pure truth, that pure consciousness. So that's what we're awakening to. And to get to that level, you have to understand that you did create exactly what you want.
So we've only got a couple minutes. What is 2, 3, and 4?
So really quick. Okay. Principle number 2, look at your underlying motivation, the agenda of your ego's perception, and what needs your ego is attached to getting met. So realize that, your ego has a lot to do with your underlying agenda. So, let's say you're at a bar, not that you would be at a bar, but then let's say, you see somebody that's really handsome across the way, and we're going to reverse it. And you send a drink over to him. And it's like, oh, well, you might have an ulterior motive, right? To get to know this person.
Right.
Right. So it's like, what is your ego? What is your underlying agenda? And most egos have an agenda for everything. And just knowing, look at that. Take a look at what your underlying motivation is.
Okay.
Okay. So
3.
yeah. And just remember too, that the egoic mind is always about serving your ego. Okay. So moving on to number 3, take it to source and see where it fits, because physical reality is an illusion created by consciousness to rediscover itself. So for example, if you thought about something that you don't like about yourself, let's say, I'm not organized. Let's just use that one. Someone wants to organize their day and their day gets past them and they're like, I should have done this today. So you're belittling yourself. You're undervaluing yourself. And so this is how you actually feel about source, because that's what our consciousness really is. So we're saying that it's either about how you feel about source or how you think source feels about you.
Okay. And number 4, we only have less than a minute.
Okay. Number 4. So beyond the ego's concept of whatever it is, it's synchronicity. So synchronicity exists. So that's when your egoic agenda no longer exists. So as divine one, what is for the good of all at that point.
You did it. You got it done in 3 minutes or less. Hang on for a second. We have to take another break. We'll be right back with Sharon Serota Berkowitz.
All right, you're clear. You're clear. Give me just a moment to save.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marla.
You're welcome. You didn't think you had to do that quickly before.
Yeah, that was quick, but it was great. Yeah, we got it all in. So that's the important thing.
All right, this one saves much faster. If you're ready, we can get going.
Whenever you're ready.
All right, here we go. In 5, 4, 3.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for sticking around. If you've just tuned in, I'm talking to Sharon Serota Berkowitz. Sharon is a Reiki Master. Sorry about that. Body Code and Emotion Code Practitioner, Akashic Records Reader. She is currently co-hosting All One Conscious Conversations on Zoom and Facebook, where she has guests from all over the world. You can find Sharon's page on Facebook at Light Wisdom. So look up Light Wisdom on Facebook and you can read all about Sharon and what she does and how she can help you. She also has a page called I just lost it. Sharon?
The Divine One.
Thank you. The Divine One, also on Facebook. And that's a page or a group that you have with Sage.
Yes, it's a group with Sage and the founding members, and anyone can join. It is open to the public.
Perfect. So check out Sharon on Light Wisdom on Facebook or Divine One on Facebook. Also, Sharon's book, called Light Wisdom, Awakening to Your True Self, launches on November 1st. Great time for a holiday gift. Go to Amazon, go pre-order the book, check it out. Oh, there we go. We have the cover of the book. It's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And so check Sharon out there. So Sharon, it's charity shout out time. Your charity is the Temple of Kriya Yoga, which is yogakriya.org. Talk about Kriya Yoga and the importance of it to you and why you want to help it out through making it your charity shout out today.
Yes. So people who follow Kriyananda, for example. So I was studying about Kriyananda with my husband, Stephen, who's been a great support and loving husband. And so we're doing this journey together. You know, you have someone, a partner with you that encourages you and to do things. And so I'm a channeler also. So in my book, I do have a chapter about Kriyananda. And part of it is channeled through him. And it's also bringing us to that awareness of the oneness consciousness.
So let's talk, who is Kriyananda? For those who don't know, it's a yoga master, a guru?
Right. Yeah. So autobiography of a yoga. So Yogananda, then Kriyananda, and then there's disciples from there. And my husband is a Swami.
Excellent. So check out yogakriya, KRIYA.org, and see if this is something that you might want to get involved in. So check it out. So Sharon, you are having a workshop in Chicago. What is the workshop about and when is it?
So the workshop is coming up in November 13th and 14th at the Renaissance Hotel in Northbrook, Illinois. And we are talking about the principles here that we're discussing on the show today. We're talking about oneness consciousness, about awakening to your true self. And we're so excited. We're going to have 5 teachers, including myself and my husband, Stephen, and Sage, and several other members of our group. And so we've been studying this for many years and just following that path, and it really excites us.
So are there going to be sleeping rooms available for people who travel?
Yes, the hotel, there are rooms available. So people are flying in, which we do have some people doing that. We have rooms that are available as part of our group.
Perfect. So I want to get back to one more question. What are the 4 addictions of the mind?
So the 4 addictions of the mind, very good question. So the first one is perfectionism. Anyone can relate to that, wanting to be perfect, getting it done just right. So I used to be like that a lot.
Me too.
Yeah, you can relate. So it's needing to keep pushing forward, and rather than simply just doing your best and allowing what is, it's again the ego wanting to be perfect. So that's the first one. The second one is drama, the intensity. Like some people just need to have more drama in their life.
Know people like that? Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So it's the needing to find the intense drama in any experience. So, or creating something because they want more drama. So again, that's taking responsibility and ownership, that you're owning up what's happening for you, because nothing happens to you. It's all for you.
Right.
Right.
It's
Yes.
absolutely all for you.
Right. Because you're the only one here. There's no one else here. That's why it's for you. And number 3, fixating on what's not working. Oh, it's not working. I have to fix that. I have to get that working again. So it's the habitual conditioned mind that continually draws us back into what is not working, trying to fix it or change it. So we're always trying to work it out, always trying to fix it. You know, it's almost like trying to fix your daughter or your son. It's like, how often is that going to work, that you want to keep fixing whatever that they're doing? You just have to let them be who they are as well.
So what do we do if you have perfectionism or you need the drama or, okay.
Yeah. And so remember, it's the egoic mind that's doing all of this, that's creating this. So when we understand the construct of the mind, then we're understanding what it is what we have. and even moving beyond that. And I want to talk about the fourth one. There's one more.
One more.
One more. The need to know.
How was that one made for me?
Yeah, there was that one on yours, right?
It's
So
the need to know, yeah.
yeah, because it's inquisitive. The egoic mind could be very inquisitive, analytical, searching and seeking more and more information. Oh, I need another class. I need another show. I need more of this. So that's always too part of what is making up the mind. And so when we understand the construct of the mind, then we can also release and surrender, let go. You could do that work. There's dissolution of the states of mind. So it was one state of mind occurring at a time. And remember, it's a state of mind, A, which is one. So let's say someone has anger issues, like someone's always getting upset about something and they're pointing the finger and blaming somebody else for it. That is something that needs to be dissolved. So as you dissolve that, you're releasing the charge or the trigger of anger. So that way, when the similar experience comes up again, that you're not going to be in that funk as much as you were originally. In other words, it'll lessen and lessen until it's completely dissolved. It's almost like the grape juice stain on the carpet. It's like you get it out, you think you did it, and then, there's a little bit left and you got to do it again. So sometimes you might have to dissolve that state of mind again through a process that we share.
And here's the thing: when you have these issues, I call it the chacha, because there are times when you will make advances and you'll move forward, and then you'll take those steps back, and then you just have to realign or refocus and do it again, and eventually you will get across the room by doing that. It's just, it's the human way, because humans don't necessarily get the concept immediately, and then that's all there is.
That's right. So that's part of the awakening. It's like being patient with yourself, and knowing that, okay, maybe this time it could be 100% done and dissolved, but maybe another one would be less than that. So you're going to be doing the dissolving process again. And the dissolving takes maybe a minute per time that you do this. It's going into your heart center and letting that state of mind, that feeling, just dissolve in your heart space, so to speak, because that's who we are, more from the heart energy. And that is also just kind of like, if you release and let go and just breathe into it, use your breathing to slow your breath down. And when you do that, you become more centered, more balanced, as opposed to like running around trying to do things and fix things so much that you're out of control. And then that's when things become overwhelming, or people are going through issues with their partners. It could be about money. It could be about relationships. Could be about any of those things. So, and this is how these states of mind are created. And these states of mind are, remember, from your mind.
It is. It reminds me of a dog chasing its tail. Each of these things, and until they catch it, and some don't ever catch it. They never get their tail. And then they do it again.
Right. And people will, if people have that idea that they want to do this and pursue it, then they will. If this is their journey, this is what they choose to do. And if they don't, that's fine too. There's nothing good or bad or telling that someone's doing it wrong, because there's no right or wrong.
No.
And how you look at that.
That's such a true statement. So we have a couple of minutes left. Is there something that you'd like to talk about that I haven't addressed in this conversation?
So when we talked about the dissolution of the egoic mind, so it's releasing one state of mind at a time, and it's tuning into that. So that's really important that people somehow dissolve those states of mind, and there's many different ways to do it. And again, it's dissolving those feelings, so that way it dismantles the egoic mind. Because remember, everything is created from your self outward. In other words, we're projecting out onto our reality, and we're making that what we see real. And when we understand that that's not the true real, that the pure consciousness awareness, the pure self is the real. And that's what we're looking to go towards. And even so, you're not going towards anything because it's all present right here and now. Like we said, love is everything. Love is all there is. So in other words, you don't have to go over to the next room to get love, right? Or being in the present moment, you don't have to go anywhere to go be present.
Well, and isn't it starting with the love inside yourself, and then it emanates out? And so that's why you don't need to go to any other room, because if you learn to love yourself, then it just bubbles out and goes into the community, rest of the house, the community, the people you interact with, and they feel the difference that you're extending this love to them.
And when you do have that love and you recognize that, like you recognize the feelings that come up and you release those, you're more coming into tune with yourself, more in love. You're loving yourself, loving others, no matter what's happening around you. In other words, you can still be in a rock concert and you can be sitting there and still be at peace with yourself. So in other words, it's not about what's happening outside of you. It's how you are inside and how you respond to that. But it's more so that you're just dissolving and letting things go and knowing that you're in that space of just love, like you talked about.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And it's a great way to end the show, talking about love and exuding love, because it's so important and it's so transitional. Sharon, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. I'm so grateful. Sharon Serota Berkowitz. Check out her book, Light Wisdom, Awakening to Your True Self, launches on November 1st on Amazon. So you can pre-order it, check it out. Also, check out her page on Facebook called Light Wisdom, and also the Divine One Workshop. Is it the Divine One Workshop? Is that what it is, the other page? Am I saying that correctly?
It's called The Divine One on Facebook,
Okay.
which is having their workshop November 13th and 14th. So please join us. For more information, please reach out. Thank you so much, Marla. It's been such a pleasure being on your show. Thank you so much.
I want to thank everyone at Voice America for all you do to get this show up and running and on the air and sounding great. Thank you. I want to thank Bridget, my right arm, my left arm. Thank you for keeping me on track and on schedule. So grateful for you. I want to thank you, the listening audience, who took time out of your day, out of your life to be a part of this show. And I created the show with you in mind because I want to bring to you special people like Sharon, who has amazing information to share with you to help you on your journey. So thank you for taking the time. Go to my YouTube page, review, like, subscribe to it. It's the same name, Guided Spirit Conversation, where all my archived episodes can be found. Also, check out my website at MarlaGoldberrg, and Goldberg has 2 R's.com. You can see how I can work with you, everything that I work with. And if you don't have Clubhouse, please download it. Every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, Sherry Jewel, Psychic Medium Sherry Jewel, and I have a page called Spirit Talk and Convos. And so we have guest moderators come on, but you as the audience can come up and talk about your experiences and what goes on for you. And if you have any questions, they can get answered. So please check out that Clubhouse page each and every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's called Spirit Talk and Convos. So I'm going to leave you once again by sending you love, blessings, and gratitude. Know that I'm so grateful that you're in my life in whatever capacity you're in it. And I want to say this, if you haven't heard this today, I'm going to say it. If you have heard it, you're going to hear it again. I love you. You're an amazing being, and I'm so grateful that we're sharing this community with you. So until the next time, stay well, stay joyful, grateful, and safe. Take care.